All right, guys, in this video, let's talk about eating grains. Is it a healthy thing to do? Now, I got this question recently from a viewer, and it's an important one. So basically, wanted to know my thoughts on grains. I've talked about the fact that I do eat homemade sourdough on occasion, but this viewer said, I've seen other places where they say absolutely don't eat grains. Other places say it's okay. I eat a little bit. What's the skinny on this? They're confused. Should you eat grains? The short answer is, in an ideal world, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to avoid really unhealthy foods, no, you should not eat grains. They're less than an ideal food. And let me explain what I mean by that, because like I say here, there's some nuance to all this. You don't have to totally avoid them. It's going to depend on your situation, which is why I can have them once in a while. So grains, first of all, contain some ingredients that are really not good for you. We're talking about anti-nutrients, phytates, saponins, lectins, some of these sorts of things. So what does this mean? For example, some of these ingredients like lectins, very not good for your gut health. They end up binding carbohydrates in your system. We need those carbohydrates for energy production. Gluten. A lot of people claim to be gluten intolerant. Some of this is their gut health. Okay, I want to be clear on that. But there is a subset of the population. It's not as much as people say, but it's probably around 1% that are absolutely, they cannot tolerate gluten. However, gluten has some other downsides. Even if you can tolerate it, it can bind calcium, vitamin D, keep those levels lower. Same with phytates, okay? Phytates will bind to the minerals that you consume, so you're not absorbing as many minerals. Now, when I make sourdough, it's obviously, I go through a long fermentation process. It's 48-hour fermentation. That helps break down some of those things, but it never completely eliminates them, all right? The other thing I'd point out about grains is they can cause blood sugar issues with some people. I get a lot of people coming to me saying, they have these blood sugar swings. Grains are, breads, so forth, are actually very starchy. So I find if somebody's early on in the process of trying to fix their metabolism, improve weight loss, grains are best avoided, particularly because of that starchy component. Other people will ask, well, I want to eat grains because I need the fiber. Okay, a lot of people misunderstand fiber. You should be able to get, if you're eating in the way that I recommend, you should be able to get all the fiber you need from fruits primarily. You're going to get a lot of fiber. You don't need fiber from grains. I think it's one of the most overrated things that is being sold to people out there about how to eat, okay? So the bottom line is very simple, guys. When I first started experiencing health problems, probably in 2003, I cut out grains. And I cut them out pretty much completely for over a decade. And that was a net positive for me. Over time, I was able to reintroduce them. I didn't have issues with them early on. I do believe they kind of contributed to some of I was having hives and stuff like that, but I think that was more of a stress response. But once I had reintroduced them a little bit, no issues. I can do them once in a while, but I will be honest, I feel better overall when they're out of my diet. So I can have it a couple times a week with no issues. Sometimes I don't have them at all. Sometimes I have them 3-4 times a week. But you're going to have to try it and kind of base your mileage is going to vary basically. But my advice is, if you're having struggles, just eliminate them, see how you do. And then if things go fine, you can reintroduce them to a point. Part of the reason I do sourdough is because that fermentation process, but also, let's be honest, it's nice to have some bread once in a while. You can put some butter, some preserve on there. I really enjoy that, and it makes for an enjoyable life. But overall, I think grains are best avoided. This is especially true if you have thyroid or you have blood sugar issues, which are kind of one and the same at times. They're best avoided. So I hope that answers the viewer's question. I hope that maybe helps you. Let me know in the comments if there's other topics that you'd like me to cover, and I'll make sure and do those. And I hope this was helpful. I will see you in the next one. Thanks.